Welcome back to Lost Treasures. In this video we will be exploring the lost treasure of Thibaud de Castillon. Pirates and popes are an unlikely duo that one wouldn't typically associate together. Pirates were daring sailors roaming the Caribbean during the 17th century, and popes are elderly priests secluded within the Vatican in Rome. They seem worlds apart in both time and distance. However, a remarkable intersection occurred in the year 1357, as revealed by documents published by the Vatican in 2014. In a captivating book titled The Spoils of the Pope and the Pirates, 1357, edited by Daniel Williman and Karen Ann Corsano, the extraordinary tale unfolds. Our story of early buccaneering originates from an unlikely figure, a French bishop in Lisbon, Portugal. This bishop, Thibaud de Castillon, was rather unremarkable in his own right. Following in his uncle's footsteps, he climbed the ecclesiastical ladder by assuming the positions his uncle vacated. By 1352, this unexciting church official found himself stationed in Lisbon. However, Thibaud's path soon took a corrupt turn, causing complications between the Portuguese kingdom and the papacy. Through his commercial activities in the Mediterranean and Atlantic, which involved speculative trading practices and dodgy deals in commodities such as wool and sea salt, Thibaud accumulated a mass of treasure. Although not bound by a vow of poverty, lending money with exorbitant interest rates and engaging in dishonest trading were deemed mortal sins for someone in his position. To circumvent these moral restrictions, Thibaud clumsily attempted to pass off his wealth and profits as belonging to his agents, such as Montpellier merchants Pierre Lagautre and Guilhem Pereire. Thibaud amassed considerable wealth throughout his life and tenure as a bishop. Pope Innocent VI, aware of this, turned a blind eye and considered Thibaud's activities as valuable experience for a bishop in Portugal. The Pope's actual intention, however, was to claim all of Thibaud's wealth for the papacy upon his death. On the 28th of May 1356, Thibaud died, marking the beginning of the intricate process of unravelling his estate. Wasting no time, the Pope promptly appointed another bishop named Jean de Garrigue, who had previously served as the papal treasurer. Garrigue had already been residing on Thibaud's estate since the bishop's first signs of illness. Garrigue claimed that all of Thibaud's dealings were conducted on behalf of the church, thereby asserting ownership to the entire fortune that Thibaud had amassed. In early 1357, Garrigue embarked on a voyage aboard the Sao Vicente, a ship bound for Avignon, a city in southeastern France situated along the Rhône River. Avignon served as the residence of Pope Innocent VI from 1352 to 1362, as political turmoil in Italy led many popes to reside there during the 14th century. Laden with Thibaud's lifelong collection of treasures, including gold, silver, rings, tapestries, jewels, fine plates, and portable altars, the Sao Vicente set sail. Thibaud's gold included one similar to this coin issued by Philip IV of France around the year 1300, and these 13th century gold coins from Italy. Unfortunately for the Pope, 1357 proved to be an unfavourable year for maritime ventures. The French and English had been locked in a 20-year conflict over Aquitaine, a historical region in southwestern France bordering Spain and the Atlantic. Simultaneously, the War of the Two Peters raged on, with Peter of Castile and Peter IV of Aragon vying for the throne of Castile, a former kingdom comprising most of modern Spain. England, France and Portugal were also entangled in this conflict. Peter of Aragon's ambitions included control over the Mediterranean, and he therefore built up a large navy. He then proceeded to not utilise them, and Castile's navy, nor that of his allies, made an advance against the fleet. This left a large number of powerful ships being crewed by very bored and violent sailors, belonging to at least two different kingdoms, loitering everywhere. The Sao Vicente ran directly into two of these ships just off Cartagena, one of Castile's ports and modern-day city in Spain. One of the galleys was Castilian and one was Genoan, an ally of Castile, in the War of the Two Peters. Despite this, and the fact both kingdoms were allies of Portugal, the bored sailors sensed an opportunity to turn pirate and claim Thibaud's treasure. They seized the ship, put Garrigue ashore in Cartagena, split the treasure and absconded. One of them was commanded by a man named Antonio Botafoc. The word Botafoc means fire blast. His real last name has been lost to history. The other ship was commanded by Martin Yanez. Botafoc's ship was armed to the teeth. Records indicate that his crew carried cutlasses and war pikes, and the galley had at least 7 ballistae, which were large crossbow-like devices capable of launching 9-inch stone bullets at high speeds. The crew of the Sao Vicente had little choice but to surrender Thibaud's treasure to the 2 pirate ships. The Castilian ship, commanded by Martin Yanez, sailed off with their ill-gotten loot and disappeared from history. The Genoan ship, commanded by Botafoc, however, was less fortunate. The galley only made it as far as the towns Moggio and Egmont, which was not far from the treasure's original destination of Avignon. There the galley found itself unintentionally blown ashore. The ship, treasure and crew were all captured by the local royal garrison, and from there things went downhill rapidly. Botafoc's crew were all hanged as soon as they had been caught. The poor common sailors were extrajudicially hanged. They were, by tradition, enemies of the human race, and therefore no law protected them. They were likely hung on the beach, possibly by the lateen spar of their own ship, which is used to rig sails. Botafoc himself, along with 2 officers, was spared and instead imprisoned. Botafoc and the 2 officers had on their possession a large amount of loose coin, which they turned over to the Bishop of Torino to buy their lives and freedom. The local garrison who found Botafoc's ship also notified the French crown of the pirates' capture, leading to royal assessors taking an inventory of the treasure as salvaging rights. However, the assessor was too slow. Local fishermen beat the royal garrison to the wreck, while the pirates were still attempting to flee. Some portion of the treasure was plundered as a result, never to be seen again. Furthermore, the spoils were also snatched by the hungriest beast of them all, the sea. Thankfully, the shipwreck was close enough that the treasure began to wash ashore, and royal notaries eventually swarmed in to take inventory on the 11th of February 1357, attesting that the remaining treasure belonged to the Pope. The recaptured treasure eventually went to the Pope and was used as gifts for royalty and to pay soldiers courtiers and other staff. But this is not the end of the story. One of the Lisbon merchants Thibaud colluded with got involved. Pierre Lagautre thought he had a claim against the treasure, when in fact it was discovered that he actually owed money. Whilst what remained of Thibaud's treasure went to the Pope, it was the debt owed by Lagautre that turned out to have the most momentous impact on history in this entire story. The debt Lagautre owed was the result of his losing a cargo of wool clothes to pirates in 1355. He had invested somewhere between 1,000 and 1,400 florins of Thibaud's money into this, and the loss had left him unable to pay. In order to recoup his losses, he filed a claim against Valencia. This was on the basis that governments who allow their sailors to go pirate are liable for their actions. Lagautre was compensated with a warehouse full of sea salt, which he surrendered to the church and the Pope to pay off his debt. The church then attempted to sell the sea salt in Avignon, but ran into a problem. Italian merchants had a total monopoly on the market for sea salt. The Pope was shut out. One flex of papal muscle later, the Italians were out, and the papacy now owned the monopoly. This monopoly would wind up providing the church with a far larger fortune than Thibaud ever accomplished, as it would last for more than 400 years. The medieval and Renaissance fortifications that survive to this day, including Avignon, which are now national monuments or part of UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites, were all financed through this sea salt monopoly. Thanks to a group of pirates and their encounter with the papacy, Avignon is one of the jewels in the crown of medieval Europe's remaining presence today. Returning back to Thibaud's treasure, the second pirate ship that attacked the Sao Vicente, the one commanded by Martin Yanez, was never mentioned again in historical records. Martin Yanez and his crew appear to have gotten away with a large bounty of treasure. What happened to this treasure, how much it is worth today, and where it is located remains a mystery. Thank you for joining me on this journey to uncover the story of the lost treasure of Thibaud de Castillon. Please like, share and comment below. I'll be releasing videos every Thursday. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to ensure that you don't miss them. Until next time, thank you.